Hi, I'm Tom Hess, and today we talk about how to add vibrato to both notes of a double stop. Hey, double stops sound cool, but what makes double stops on guitar sound even better is great vibrato added on top. I'm going to show this to you over a blues track so that you can apply the double stop vibrato in more than one style, key, and context. So grab your guitar and let's have some fun. So what we have here is a B minor 7th chord. I'm going to play some double stops that relate to the B minor 7th chord, and then I'm going to apply vibrato to each one. So check this out. Next we have this one. That's D and F sharp. Now we have B and F sharp. We have A and D. Now we have F sharp and B. Then we have A and D. And finally, B and F sharp. Okay, so what's going on here is all the double stops are notes that are taken from the chord. So the notes in a B minor 7th chord are B, D, F sharp, and A. So everything I played was a pair of some combination of those four notes. So we started off F sharp and B. Now, when you do the vibrato, try not to do it by wiggling your fingers like this, okay? Don't think about it like this, where you might use your finger to bend the string or push. Okay, and then it's harder if you do it this way. You're using your fingers to push or make the little string bends. Instead, keep your fingers stable. So the fingers aren't going to actually move at all, ever, okay? With one exception. Really two exceptions. So for this first one, the fingers are stiff, they're stationary. And what we're going to do is use what's called the doorknob movement. So just imagine you're turning a doorknob, okay? So this part of my hand is resting against the guitar neck, okay? Don't worry about where my thumb is. The thumb is not important at all. It doesn't matter where it is. What matters is where this is, right here. That's what matters, okay? And I'm just going to turn the doorknob like this. The fingers are stationary. They just move as my hand moves. But in relation to my hand, they're not doing this, okay? Now here, when I do this one, I've chosen to do the doorknob movement down. So up here, the doorknob movement is going this way. And down here, the doorknob movement is going this way. But again, the fingers are stable. They're next to each other. They're stiff. So my arm is making the vibrato, not my fingers. The arm, not the fingers. And when you keep the fingers next to each other, okay, when they stay stable, and you only use your arm to move, what that does is it ensures that both notes, when you do the vibrato, they're going up together and down together, and up together and down together. When you use the two fingers separately, you run the risk that one finger may be pulling or pushing at a faster rate or at a different amount than the other, and that is not impossible to do, it's just a lot harder. So for the first two, we're using the doorknob motion. In this case, we're going this way. Here we're going the opposite way. Now when you get to the third double stop, you can use the doorknob motion here, but it's not very easy to do. So in this case, for this particular one, I'm actually going to do the vibrato with the fingers. And be careful to make sure that the notes are moving up relatively, consistently the same. So they're both moving up together and down together approximately the same amounts. It's harder, but it's cool. Now we get down to the fourth one. Again, I'm using the doorknob motion. It's really easy here. On the next one, doorknob movement, same thing here. And then here, I'm using my fingers now. So this one I'm using the fingers, the third one that you see on the screen. And this one, I'm using the fingers. Everything else is doorknob motion. And it sounds really cool, pretty gritty. That double stop vibrato sound is really nice. All right, so now we've got the 4 chord of a 12-bar blues. This is E minor 7. And we're going to play some double stops over this chord. So here's the first one. I'm using the doorknob motion here. Next. Next one. All these sound real cool. All right, so again, the double vibrato on both notes, keeping the fingers stiff when possible will make this easier to play. It just sounds really cool, really gritty, especially over a blues context. Now let's hear it over the 5 chord in our 12-bar blues progression. This is F sharp minor 7, minor blues. Okay, so here's our double stops. That's a really gritty one right there. Cool, so again, it's just really, especially this first one. The vibrato on the double stops just adds so much. Double stops in general are cool. You can just simply do this. That's a pretty cool sound. That's a way better sound in my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You like it with the vibrato? You like it without the vibrato? All right, let's talk about how to practice double stops on guitar with vibrato. So as I mentioned earlier, it's very useful for most of these double stops when the fingers are connected together, they're stationary. So once they're in position, they're not moving. We're not doing any of this, okay? None of this. So they're just going to be planted, and you do vibrato right here. Now, if you need help with vibrato in general, I've got another video here on YouTube that is a guide, a 10-step guide to learning and mastering vibrato. You would really want to check that out if you don't have your vibrato really strong and secure. You're not exactly sure how to get that cool sound. Check out that video on YouTube. Now, getting back to how to practice this stuff. You may have noticed that when I was picking the notes, I often didn't play them together, okay? So I didn't do this, where I kind of strum both strings. Instead, I usually hit one string first, and then the higher one. Or you can do it reverse. And the reason why I do that is because I really want the listener to really perceive this double stop as 2 separate notes that are joining as one. They really can hear the difference in the sound versus if we just simply hit them together. That's cool too, but it's a little less obvious for the non-musician to really pick up on the fact that that's 2 notes. To them, they just hear it as one sound, which is okay. We hit it separately. Now it's much more obvious to the non-guitar player what is happening. It's a different sound and it sounds really great. Now, if you want to learn how to make any lick you know sound even better, I'll show you how in my new free ebook titled The Secret to Adding fire and emotion to any guitar lick. It's totally free. Just click on the link below to download your copy and make every lick that you know sound even better.